great. For the first time during a wedding in a pandemic. All right, so we're moving straight into the reception here. And first, I think Kaitlyn and Alex would like to introduce you to their bridal party and groomsmen.
Yeah, so the girls.
Yes, the girls have to come up.
So I'd just like to invite all of the bridesmaids up to just under the tent here.
Oh, you said and I'll be.
Oh, sorry. Maybe we'll come up to the tent. We'll come up to the arch and you guys can come and join us on the arch.
Sure.
All right, we would like to introduce you guys to the beautiful people that made today happen. So I'm going to start with Alyssa. So give a little wave. Yeah, she is. So Alyssa is my wise and loving older sister and maid of honor. Actually, she was more like my mother growing up, making sure I didn't put anything in my mouth to choke on. She made sure I washed my hands after I went to the bathroom. She's the germ COVID police and made sure I chose the right boy to marry. This shows her fierce but kind leadership and the care she gives to all around her. She's gracious and the most thoughtful person I have ever met, making everyone feel loved and valued. Alyssa is the joy and life and loudness in our family. She makes everything more fun, and with her snacks, more delicious. Living with her the past few years in Saskatoon, she basically kept me alive during my residency training. As she likes to say, Kaitlyn needs 24-hour care. So Alex, you're starting a full-time job. Good luck. P.S. She's single. Oh my God! Next is Charisse. Charisse is my sweet little baby sister and also maid of honor. And our special guest of the day is our precious niece that she's carrying. Show off that belly bump. Yeah! She's definitely the cutest pregnant woman that has ever walked the earth, and I should know because I work with pregnant moms every day. Charisse, growing up,
talking everything.
Charisse was my never-ending playmate, dance partner, and travel buddy. Charisse has a very gentle spirit that welcomes you to share your whole heart, and then she chooses to love all of you. She has always amazed me, and most recently with her ability to dream up and vision and then make a reality and lead a bilingual school where all children are loved and thought of as future leaders and nation changers. And due to her diligence, creativity, and care, I know they will be. Next is Nelvine. Nelvine is my cuñado, or brother-in-law, but I prefer to call him Tio, which means uncle, and that's kind of a long story. He married Charisse almost 2 years ago now, and he's just been the perfect fit in our family, bringing life and joy and the vocals to our band. He was part of the family long before their wedding day. Nelvine has a smile that makes you feel known and loved. He brings joy and peace wherever he goes. Nelvin plays the father role to over 100 children in Honduras, and I love watching him provide care and leadership to so many children from broken families. And next is Danielle. Danielle is my bestie and bridesmaid and the flower extraordinaire that created all the arrangements and made our wedding so, so beautiful. We met when I started university in Saskatoon. And we quickly became best friends. She's amazing and brings beauty wherever she goes, from flowers to painting to just her presence. Danielle is known for her smile, where her eyes totally disappear, and then the joy that's felt by all when they're with her. She's the strongest and wisest woman I've ever met. She has taught me many things, but this season, most of all, perseverance and trust in the Lord, who is her keeper. She spends time in the presence of God, and then being so full, is prepared to share it with others. She speaks truth that I often desperately need to hear, and I'm forever thankful. And last would have been my friend Kristen. So this is a shout out to my lovely friend and bridesmaid that couldn't be here today. Kristen is trapped in Manitoba and couldn't make it, but I'm so thankful for her friendship and helping and planning and making today so special. I had the privilege to meet her at the beginning of my university in a Power to Change discipleship group. Then we lived together for one of the best semesters ever. Kristen became like another sister in our family. She introduced us to the Arabic world, and we fell in love with koshari and greeting with double kisses, and she made sure we were up on the best fashion for the best price. Kristen's heart is so kind. She takes you under her wing and makes sure you're cared for, not just for the short term, but she's really a lifelong friend. Okay. Thank you, bridesmaids. We'll swap and Nelvin. Thank you, Team Meyerly over here.
Thank you.
We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Love you guys. Okay, now I'd like to call out the Chang related family, please.
Yeah, you should say because you're
Yeah.
they're gonna come up on this side.
Guys, for you to say nice things about me.
Yeah, okay.
We'll see.
Everybody stand here? Yeah, sure. So first up, I have my sister Rebecca. Rebecca is my little sister, who I love a lot. She used to only be annoying and a pain in my butt, but since I moved away from home, she has also become a good friend since Mom and Dad started bothering her more that I was gone, and Rebecca started to realize my value. She nicknamed me her buffer while I was away in undergrad. Since then, we became friends when we had a shared experience of suffering. The strength of the suffering birthed a proportionally strong friendship, and now I really appreciate having her around. We don't usually say nice things to each other, so this is really huge. Becca's just like me in a ton of ways. She's someone who knows what I'm thinking even when I don't say it, and she's always looking out for me, ever since our first Halloween when I was scared and she got double candy for us. She also cares a lot about larger scale social issues, and I think that's really admirable. She doesn't always say nice things, but she cares a ton and she shows it. And I'm thankful for her. Next, I'd like to introduce my cousins, who I consider like brothers. We spent a ton of time growing up together. The first is Justin. You want to give a wave? Justin's my best man, who's probably also my first friend, which is weird to think about. He speaks the love language of the closest guy friends, which is roasts. Justin's just one of the nicest guys, in a very strong and not a weak way. Not necessarily in what he says, but in how he will always be there to hang out, spend time with, and support and help out those he loves. For example, being my best man today, and even right now standing in the rain, and it's his birthday, so this is what he's spending his birthday doing. We had so much fun growing up together, like playing sports, board games, video games, eating, making fun of other people in the family, and going to Wonderland, which is an amusement park. Justin would always cry on the big rides, and it turns out he never really liked Wonderland, but me and Becca loved it, so he would come and hang with us. He's really a selfless guy, extremely selfless, good man, lots of good memories, but the funniest ones are roasts, so I just won't mention those ones. Alright, my second cousin brother is Tim. You want to give a wave? We're 5 years apart, so I usually view Tim as one of my little guys, but he's grown up to be a fine man here. Tim's thoughtful, considerate, and loves his family a lot. He's always eager to hang out and help. He is evidence that spanking your kids works, because he was a really bad kid growing up. If you said, Timmy, don't do that, then it would become his mission in life to do that very thing. But Tim loves to have fun with people. I remember when he was little, he he would do something bad, and then when my grandma chased him around to spank him, he would be running around with the biggest smile on his face, like it was a game of tag. But even when he got caught as she raised the stick, he would be laughing until the beating finally came. Tim brings me a lot of joy and a lot of good memories. Becca and I used to have to help our grandma catch him for a spanking, or else we'd be in trouble too. But since those days, he's matured a lot into a loving, reflective, hardworking, smart man and friend. Next I got Sam, my cousin, brother. Sam's Tim's younger brother. To me, he's a testimony of God's grace and care for his people. Because where Tim was a bad and mean kid, Sam was one of those that he picked on over and over. Tim made fun of Sam for everything, from his nosebleeds to his haircuts to his farts and his clothes and his amount of body hair and his amount of love for God even. One time Sam said, "I like Alex," and Tim said, "I like God." I think I remember praying for God to bless Sam when I was a kid, because he walked into a wall corner and cut his head open pretty badly, so he had it pretty bad as a kid sometimes. But he was always so sweet and joyful and happy to be around with the cousins, playing in our grandparents' house or on the street. So I just look at Sam and think, God looks after his people. Sam loves the Lord now, and he's grown into a strong, principled, honest man with integrity. I'm proud of him, and I love him.
Love you too.
Thanks, Sam. And then I got Michael here. I want to give a wave. Michael's my soon-to-be brother-in-law. Him and Rebecca are getting married in September. That's the plan. And everybody knows that I'm Team Michael now, but not everyone knows why. So Michael, I haven't told you, but I really admire your pursuit and love for my sister. Becca's the baby of the family, so if anyone was interested in her, initially we'd dislike you by default. And to see your unwavering love for her and to our family during those difficult years was something that really demonstrates to me Jesus' goodness and pursuing love, who comes to a people who hate him so much that they kill him, but he perseveres. And yet his love persevered to overcome death, to grant life and love to him and his people forever. And that's the kind of love I've seen you demonstrate to Becca and in front of us, her family. And so I'm thankful to have you supporting me and Kaitlyn here today and be joining us in a few months. So thanks, Groomsmen. Yeah, love you guys. Yeah.
If you would like to sit in your car, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see. Charisse, can you bring some of Kayla? There's one of these.
Okay, we're going to move into speeches, toasts, roasts. We'll see. And first, myself and my sister would like to give a toast to the bride, Kaitlyn. Thank you, thank you. I'd like to share the story of the moment when I first met Kaitlyn. My parents had just been given the second greatest gift of their lives. The best gift came 3 years earlier. They invited me into the hospital room and had the camera rolling, ready to capture the moment when their two daughters would meet for the first time. And I walk into the room and Kaitlyn is just wailing like only a newborn with a fresh set of lungs can. And I was shocked, wondering what my parents were doing to the baby. In reality, they were just giving her her first bath. But I started to cry, begging my parents to stop hurting the baby, stop hurting the baby. I couldn't be controlled and my grandma had to take me out of the room. And clearly I've always taken the role of older sister very seriously. Often Kaitlyn would say to me, "You're not my mom." But it's obvious ever since she was a baby in the bath, she needed someone looking out for her, and I was going to fill that role.
When Kaitlyn was 2 years old, she met one of the best people in her life, me. Once brought home and ready to meet my big sisters, the blanket was finally lifted from my baby carrier. The bright light shone in, and I saw my two big sisters' faces beaming. At that time, I had no idea how special big sisters are. 2-year-old Kate looked in to see me, her baby sister. Understandably taken aback by my baby cuteness, all she could respond with was, "Isn't she beautiful? Isn't she beautiful?" Today it's my turn to say the same to you. Isn't she beautiful?
Sharice and I were going to make a comment that today kind of felt like a Zoom call where everyone's on mute, and to encourage you guys to give a little toot toot on your horns, but you guys have been doing so well, we don't need to bring any encouragement. But if you find us funny at all, feel free to encourage us along the way here as we go. Thank you.
Kaitlyn has always shown her innate desire to help society and save lives. We lived several years of our childhood lives doubling as spies. We transported ourselves to other countries and planets via our trampoline, risking our lives to maintain peace and justice. We would ride around the 3 cul-de-sacs on our trusted horse bikes, always keeping an extra eye on the infamous middle cul-de-sac. We advanced rapidly within the spy community. We had not only become undercover spies, but we were the librarians of the entire spy association. We made library cards, signed out library books, and answered the phones. Eastern Place Spy Association, Kate and Sharice at your service.
Some of you might know that Kaitlyn's middle name is Angelica, which means angelic. And she truly is an angel in so many ways, and not only because she often plays the angel in the church Christmas dramas, but one place where her angelic light shines most brightly is in the hospital while caring for all of her pregnant mamas. Every day when we both get home from work, we swap stories, and sometimes her stories are filled with funny anecdotes, and we laugh at the weak dads who can't handle childbirth even though we know they're not doing any of the work. A while ago, she told me a story about a mom who was so grateful for the extra few minutes